But isn't that life? That's how that works. People that do those kind of things, and they just like I told you about the guy that I knew when I was in St. Louis, and he had a big vault in his basement, and he used to go down every night and open the vault and kiss his money.
Scrooge McDuck.
He didn't do much with it, although he did do some good, but he didn't do much. And when he passed away, why his relatives knew the combination, and they spent his money. See? Enjoy what you have in freedom. Someone said, your best china shouldn't really be up on the shelf. It should be on the table when you eat. Because someone else will come in, and they will, after you're gone, will take the china and fall down the stairs while they're taking it out of there. See? Enjoy what you've got. Enjoy.
I don't believe true freedom is something that can ever be taken away from you. The only way you can lose true freedom is by giving it up.
Yeah. It's a state of mind.
Right.
It's a state of mind. Because some people are, like he said, are in prison, but still feel free. Very, very free. Our freedom depends on how we think about it. Some people can actually have a good life. I knew a lady one time that said, there was 3 or 4 of us standing there, and she said, I've just had a hard life all of my life. I've had very difficult times. So when she was gone, this other lady who was her best friend said, I don't know what's the matter with her, that she had everything in the world she ever needed. But you see, she felt like she didn't have any freedom. And she felt like she was always waiting on her husband, but he was a very wealthy person. She basically had everything. She went everywhere she wanted. She traveled around the world. She had whatever she needed. And yet she felt like she was bound. That's pretty sad, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's pretty sad. And yet, my grandson, my little grandson, Stephen, when I reach in my pocket and give him $1, he thinks he's got everything in the wide world. And he's a strange little kid because he doesn't want to spend it, he wants to save it. He comes after a certain part of my family. So freedom, that's the word, freedom. Freedom from sickness, freedom from want, freedom from personal pain and sorrow. I've known people that could not get along with their husband or wife or partner for, it wouldn't make any difference. They just can't get along with people. You ever met people like that? They can't get along with people? And they're always saying something about the person they're with. So today we're going to just enjoy the freedom that we have. Freedom to be here in this place. Not many of us, but we are a group that studies, a study group of people who are looking for higher things in our lives. And the world today, there are people who are really locked away, who are in countries where there is no freedom. They've even taken the internet out. I don't know how you do that, but they took the internet out. So they feel that they're not free. And yet many of them working towards freedom because inside here someplace, they're free. And you cannot. Just like a Berlin Wall. You can't put a wall around people. You just can't do it. Because sooner or later, somebody will go around and knock it down. It's just not possible. Okay, any questions that you might have?
Make a comment.
Yes.
I think that the only thing that stands between us and real freedom are the constraints we feel on our choices. And those constraints are largely imposed on ourselves, by ourselves, rather from outside. How our concepts keep us chained to things that are not true.
Have you been watching Oprah Winfrey? Mm-hmm. She has a debt-free deal that she's doing. These people, I mean, some of these people, one of them made $170,000 a year and was deep in debt, couldn't make it. With $170,000, both of them were working. And what it was is, they needed somebody to point out what they could do about it. Because they felt they didn't have any freedom to do anything about it. And in reality, when somebody pointed it out and said, Here's where the hole is. This is where the hole is in your money. Come to find out, they were going out to eat 3 times a day, $100 a day. Going out to eat. And various other things. So when they got things in line, they found then they were free. They were free to enjoy life. And they found out they could pay off their credit cards. They could cut them up. Because they couldn't be trusted with them. You know, they couldn't be trusted. And so they'd cut them up, and they would find freedom from financial problems. Anybody been watching that series? It's really quite excellent.
Sometimes, off and on.
And I told you that years and years ago, when I was just 1 or 2, I used to work for a financial aid company, and basically it's all kind of mechanical. You don't know it, but there are certain agreements that these credit card companies have with these organizations, and so you just have this little thing. You know exactly what they're going to take. And we've cut up credit cards, and I've seen people fall down on the floor crying. Why? They thought their freedom was in that credit card, but in reality, they were so far in debt.
It was their bondage.
It was bondage instead of freedom.
You ought to hear all these credit card people that come and want to tell me my credit is I don't have any problems with my credit card. When I get a hold of somebody alive and say I don't own a credit card, they literally hang up on me.
Oh, don't bother calling those people. That's a game. Yeah.
You know, I just
They want to give you a credit card. Is what
no, they don't. There's some kind of a group that checks your credit on your credit cards.
I know, but they're going to lead you to a credit card. That's what that whole thing is all about. They're not working in that for
I
nothing.
just hang up on them anymore.
Don't call those people.
I never called them.
Yeah. Want to talk to you about your balance on your credit card? Don't have one.
They
Oh.
don't believe it.
Yeah.
I find it so hard to believe that 2 people that have the intelligence to have a joint income of $170,000 a year, obviously are educated and extremely intelligent, could be so stupid not to know where their money's going.
Oh no.
I just find that so hard to believe.
No.
They just
Yeah.
weren't willing to make the cuts. They just weren't willing to look at it to make any kind of
Well,
sacrifice.
little by little, through years, they've gotten into a big serious debt. Maybe one of them has gone to college, and then they've got these loans, which may be $100,000 to $150,000 in loans. And then you get something else, and pretty soon everything looks like you're dead in the water. You don't know how to get out of it. And it takes somebody to stand in there and say, okay, this is what you can do. You can do this and this and this. And these people in 3 months paid off a couple credit cards. But first of all, they had to pull in the reins because they were bound to money. M-O-N-E-Y.
Down to spending it.
I love spending money.
I do too.
Oh, I could spend it. But I learned a long time ago, better not do a lot of that kind of thing because you get yourself so far in debt. You know, you can get credit cards. You can get, I've seen people with 30 different credit cards. All, Visas and MasterCards, all Visa and MasterCards from different banks. And they just get one all filled up and they go to another and
Like
they
a
just,
debit card.
then they can't get out. You
That's
cannot
all
get
they
out of
do.
it. There's no way at 30% interest for them to ever pay it off in a lifetime.
That's why I like a debit card. And
Yeah.
if I don't have it, I can't spend it.
That's right. I think it's very, very good. Okay, any other questions or comments? I guess not, huh?